Hey, it's Greenbast here, and today I'm going to demonstrate a concept that I cover in more detail in my video pack. That's the Greenbast Turbo Speed video pack, available on husng.com under the video packs tab. In this specific example, I'm playing a player which I have extensive history with, and certainly have a pretty good idea about how this player plays and how I am perceived. So it starts off, he min raises, we're very deep, 70 big blinds effective, and I decide to 3-bet. And I do this for a few reasons. One, as we can see, he's raising extremely wide, 88% of hands, and it actually, this statistic is probably likely even higher, seeing as we're deep, because this player tightens up fairly considerably as the stacks get a little bit shallower. And as you can see, almost a 70% fold to 3-bet, so I need to be 3-betting a very wide range here. So I think Queen 5 offsuit is a pretty decent hand to 3-bet. A hand like Queen 5 suited, I might even flat. I think there's quite a bit of value to be had flatting a hand like that, but it's offsuit, it's going to be probably just slightly too weak to profitably flat, although it would be fairly close. But I decided to include this hand into my 3-betting range versus this opponent. So I make it a little bit bigger of a 3-bet because I found he folds a little bit more to that, but that's more just a read that I have. So I 3-bet and he flats, and that's telling us something about his hand already because he does fold quite a considerable amount of 3-bets. So flop comes ace-10-5 with a flush draw. Really great flop for us. I mean, our actual hand strength is not spectacular. We have bottom pair with a half-decent kicker, but I mean, this is the type of reason why you 3-bet a hand like this is for flops like this, because when we c-bet here, we're going to get a ton of folds. And if the turn does happen to come a queen or a 5, we can potentially win a massive pot because he's going to call us down with all of his ace-x hands and he's really never going to fold. But I think this is a board that, even though we have showdown equity, if we check here, it's going to give him incentive to bluff at the pot. It's going to put us in a lot of very difficult spots. As well as he could potentially get us to fold the best hand. Because when we check here, we actually are going to have a lot of hands like maybe 7 through 9s, possibly jacks through kings. May consider a check here. But when we do check here, we're going to have considerable amounts of showdown value. And another reason for c-betting this board is on a ace-high flop, we want to be representing this because even though we do have bottom pair in this situation, lots of the time we're not going to have any pair. Like I wouldn't have played queen 4 any differently, for instance. So I think it's just going to play better betting. So I go ahead and do that. And I make it 160, just slightly over half pot. I think that is a pretty good size. Could go potentially a little bit smaller, but the reason why I don't like to go too small when we're this deep is I really want to be setting up a river jam for when I do have a value hand, when I do have an ace-x type hand. So I don't want to be varying my sizing when I have ace-x type hand versus when I don't. So I think this is a pretty standard sizing here, and it's pretty effective. So this player flats. Now, I'm not really too worried about this flat. I think he's going to be flatting most of his flushes at this kind of stack depth. He's going to be flatting all of his 5x that he does have, which is not a considerable, not really that strong of his part of his range. He can have king 5 suited, probably like some 5-6 type hands. And I think the biggest portion of his range that he's flatting here is going to be 10x type stuff. He can have tons and tons of 10x type hands in his range. And I don't expect him to fold a hand like King Jack or King Queen if he decided to just flat a 3-bet with those hands. So definitely his range is weighted towards a little bit weaker hands. He has some ace-x in his range, but as we can see, with the 70% 3-bet, this player is going to be folding a lot of his weak ace-x, so I'm not really too worried about like ace-deuce, ace-3, hands like that. I think that's hands that most of the time he's going to be folding pre-flop. So turn comes pretty much a blank, and this is kind of an interesting spot. I think that there's a chance our 5x is good. Obviously, we've beaten his king high stuff, and we're beating some of his possible worst 5x that could have called pre-flop and on the flop, like 5-6 hoop. But if we check here, he's just very likely to bet all of his draws, and he's very likely to just check back with his 10 and try to get to a showdown. So I really don't like a check on this particular turn. Why I prefer to bet is we can potentially get him off of the 10x type hand, or we can potentially get him off of like king 5, or possibly this player may even flat a hand like pocket 6s, which he would fold. So for all those reasons, I think betting is quite superior here, and we have to make the bet convincing enough that it looks like we're planning to shove the river. So I go ahead and bet just slightly over half pot, and with 770 remaining, it certainly looks like I am planning to shove any river. And it puts him in an extremely difficult spot to continue on with the very vast majority of his range here. So after I make this bet, he folds, and we take it down with potentially, it's very difficult to say. We may have had the best hand here all along, or we could have got him off a slightly better hand. But either way, I certainly prefer betting this turn. I hope this was helpful. If you're looking for more help with your Turbo Speed HSNG game, check out my video pack on hsng.com. And thank you very much.